everyone. Good morning if you're joining us from North America. Good afternoon if you're joining us from Europe. Thank you for coming to our Wednesday webinar today. We're joined today by Ruth McCartney for her webinar. I'm the new music coordinator, so where do I start? Ruth, I'll hand it over to you if you'd like to take it away.
Thank you very much. I'm just moving the little screeny thing out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Hello, my name's Ruth McCartney. I'm in a very, very hot England at the moment. Unfortunately, don't have people doing exams or hay fever like lots of others. So if you are in very hot England, then I do sympathise. I'm a white woman, identify as female, have long hair and wearing glasses. And today I'm wearing blue. I'm in England, and as Musicplay is a Canadian company, this wasn't webinars happening live late afternoon in the UK. So good afternoon for us here, and good morning to those in Canada. And thank you for coming. Oops, something's just appeared in the right place. I just need to do it. So I'm the new music coordinator. It doesn't want to do it. There we are. Where do I start? There is coming in a couple of weeks' time another webinar of very similar content, but not, because that one is full of details about working your way around the Musicplay website. So do register for that, and I'll probably mention it again later. In this webinar, I'm going to go back to the beginning, where with practical tips and ideas and handy hints to make your teaching sessions easier. And often the music coordinator in schools is not the person who delivers all the music to each year group, but does need a kind of knowledgeable overview of what's needed to deliver a music curriculum, and certainly of the vocabulary used. And the coordinator is often asked to lead a staff meeting, and that's often where the panic can set in. So that's my plan for my next webinar, the easiest music staff meeting possible to inspire and motivate your staff. So hopefully today there'll be something for everyone. For the newest member of staff, who often gets the role dropped on them, and also for an experienced music teacher. So our learning objectives are how to teach a song, looking at understanding and explaining music vocabulary so that children understand it and use it, and to look at what feels important. So your music teaching will run like clockwork, and it's subjective approach. It's what I think will make it easier. So the Musicplay Online system syllabus, as you well know, is the best, most comprehensive, well-balanced, well-structured, can't praise it enough, progressive curriculum I've ever discovered. And that's not even counting all the add-ons. But even for me, and I've been a specialist music teacher for more than 30 years before I found Musicplay Online, at which point I started to adapt my own, in my opinion, pretty successful curriculum to include more and more material for Musicplay Online. And even then it felt quite overwhelming because there was just so much material I could use. For example, I quickly realized I couldn't start my year fours on Musicplay Online year 4 solfa lessons because mine hadn't quite done enough solfa input in their previous years. They'd had experience of solfa, singing, a very broad curriculum, exploring musical elements, using instruments, exploring composers, music history, but like any practical skill and knowledge-based subject, you have to start at the bottom and build up, because all that experience matters in order to progress. And it's exactly the same for an inexperienced music teacher. So where do we start? For me, be clear about your behaviour expectations, so that your lessons will run as you want them to. You're a good teacher and you have a great lesson all set, but if the behaviour is not quite running the way that you'd like it to, then it needs to be set right at the beginning of September. Stand your ground. So in a couple of my music rooms, this is the first thing the children would see on entering the room. And the first time I met them, we'd go through the notice at the entrance. I'd ask, what's music? And I'd get, it's singing, it's instruments, and not much more. So I felt it important to highlight what music is and to explain a little more. Now, this is Denise's poster, which is brilliant. Music can support other subjects. It can be so much more than that. And this is what they might see on entering the room. There's details on the slide that you will get also on where to find the poster. So I adapted Denise's poster to suit my school. So rhythm is maths and numeracy. Words and language in music often involves Italian, French, German. Science in music helps us understand pitch because it's all about frequencies of high and low. Literacy comes into all the song words, vocal patterns, phrase, rhyme. Sculpture is all about creating and composing. And the culture part of it brings in local and traditional music, history of music, and different genre of music. So in starting the year, it's important that children know that music is a subject in its own right and a subject that can support other areas of the curriculum. And it's not just a fun subject. It often is, but that's not its whole reason. And I often used to hear generalist class teachers sending their children off to music for a fun lesson. And you'd have to just bite your tongue and not say anything. But we need to emphasize it's not just a fun subject. It's a subject where every child can excel and learn if the music is taught well in a progressive, structured way. It's the skill and the experience of those teachers delivering the music well that make the learning fun. So let's just turn that round a little. So what else did my children see when entering the classroom? Let them know you're happy to be there, to share your lesson with them, but also important to establish your ground rules. And quite often, certainly the older children would say, that's really nice that you say that I'm the reason you're here. And I think, well, it's true. And it was true. But letting them know and letting them read it regularly, that it's not just coming in to learn how to sing or learn how to play the glocke or xylophone. With my younger children, we always start the lesson with a visual reminder about expectations. Are we ready to begin? And sometimes they might be able to read the words themselves, not always. Have you got voices? Show me voices, choir. Show me listening ears. Are your eyes looking? Show me empty hands. Is your body still? And have you got a big smile? So that would be my foundation stage, kindergarten, beginning. Key stage 1, years 1 and 2, we'd adapted the vocabulary slightly. And how will I model my best behaviour? And some vocabulary will need explanation with younger children. So they might identify the letters in music, and we could talk about what each statement meant. Because to make the right choices when you're one, unless you've had that conversation, will need some explanation. And later, when the children can read the poster, they took the lead on talking through what expectations were. Who can tell me what M is? M, make the right choices. And what does that mean? In which case, there's a lot more explanation. It literally takes a few minutes at the start, but it's worth it. Now, this third slide goes on to whole class behaviour expectation. And I did use it throughout the whole primary age range, especially after children came back after COVID. Because as they came back and returned to school, we needed whole class behaviour chart to work on team building and reinstating that sense of class community. Because we often work in groups in music and we get better results with good cooperation and excellent teamwork. So in theory, let me just move on one. This was my whole class rainbow ladder. Now it seems harsh, but in theory, only one class that I taught during that whole day would go up the colour space on the rainbow. So yes, it seems a bit competitive, but actually it made each class more aware of how the whole class behaviour was working. each class took ownership of it. And I was skeptical at the beginning, I must admit, and I thought, oh, I'm not great. Let's all be first, second, and third person. But it worked. It really worked. And at the end of each half term, the class highest up the ladder chose what sort of musical activities we'd all have for half or all of the session of the half term. So it might be composing, singing, free composition, using instruments, creating stories with instruments, using Chrome Music Lab on their Chromebooks, and so on. And it really instilled a sense of pride in the whole class behaviour. And that lets you get on with the teaching. So while one of today's objectives is to understand vocabulary, if the class rules are in place, you can get on with it. You can do all the things you need to do. So the class rules we'll do next initially are giving experience of rhythm, beat, pattern. And it's important to learn by doing. So let's give lots of experience, then bring in the theory. This was literally a 5-minute starter for every lesson. And initially I took the lead. Then as the students became more skilled at listening and rhythmic memory skills, their skills improved. So I'd pass the leadership role on to them. So duration is long and short sounds. Rhythm is a pattern of long and short sounds. And there are 4 pulse beats in each pattern. I wouldn't say that to the children straight away, not for a while. So I saw this starter exercise poster on a course, and I am ashamed to say I have no idea where it was from, and I can't find the details of where it came from. But I've used it so much with children aged 5 to 11. And once the older children were familiar with it, with a 4-beat pattern, they'd create their own version. And year 5 and 6, they'd notate their own rhythm, which to music teachers, you think, yeah, it's fine. Come along with me. Take, touch. We're experienced in that. The children are not, so that takes quite a bit of work. However, they really enjoyed making up their own posters. So I'm going to use it today, and I'll use the songs that we learn to increase and give more experience of our musical vocabulary. So at first, it's just an echo game. So I'd use the top 3 and we'd say it. So I'm going to go and pretend that you're speaking, and my turn, your turn. So my turn. We'll use the top 3. Be polite. You'll go. Polite. Be respectful. Be respectful. Be positive. Be positive. Which one am I doing now? Be positive. And I would still keep using the words until they grasp which was which. Then we'd play games. I tap the rhythm. Can they tell me what it is? Still using the top 3. What is this one? Off I go. Be respectful. If I could get them to do it and not miss a pulse beat, then I would feel that I was winning. So let's have a go. Be polite. Be positive. Not me, you. Right. And then I might put 2 together. So let's assume we've done that for a couple of weeks. Somebody else has taken the lead. Now we're going to add the second role. Be a good listener and follow directions. Which one sounds like the beat? What are the words for that one? Be respectful, and so on. So let's put 2 together. And if I can't see any of you doing any of this as a reply, so if you want to join in, please do, and I won't feel as if I'm totally on my own. So I'm going to choose 2, and it's going to be an echo pattern first. Be a good listener, be polite. You'll go. Be. And so on. Then make it a bit harder. Which one am I doing now? Here's my beat. Oh no, the beat doesn't feel the same. What feels strange? It's the tempo. The tempo of the beat has changed. Tempo is the speed. Tempo is the speed. I feel like Artie doing some tempo is the speed, because she always comes up with amazing phrases. So here we got 2 patterns. Are you ready? This is the speed now? You're marvellous. It was full of directions and be respectful and so on. So we then change leader and the child takes over the lead. Can that group over there keep be responsible going as our ostinato pattern? I go be positive, be positive, be respectful, be respectful, and so on. Just layer it up a bit. Layers in music is your texture, like musical lasagna. Now, Musicplay Online has some really great certificates to share with the child and their parents, which allows the child to take responsibility for and reflect on their behaviour. So let's just have a look at this one, which is the self-reflection. Now, can I make that bigger? There we are. So we've got making good choices. Unfortunately, making it bigger is just down there. So I just have to do it more. Put name on, class, date. Make good choices. Always be responsible. Describe what happened. Describe what you'll do next time. Teacher signature. Parent signature. Always good to have some backup. So there'll be a link on there. Musicplay Online has also got some really great printable good behaviour certificates. I know we can all buy them from all over the place, but they're ready-made, so they're already here. So, and it's great to take something home to say how great you were in music. There's also some self-assessment colouring sheets. Now, I've used colouring a lot, especially after the children came back with COVID, because we would do our listening to colouring sheets. An idea for another webinar and what have you. So put up my hand before speaking. I listened while the teacher was talking, played the instruments. And so, are you doing it well? Are you doing it really well? Are you absolutely amazing at it? In which case, you colour the big flower. So there are places you can go to that. Now, one of Denise's great songs to establish quiet and listening when moving around school is Put Your Finger on Your Lip. And she suggests that it's really useful to teach the students it before you set off. So practice it until the children have mastered it. And reteach it occasionally as a reminder. Now, as a music specialist, you might see 25 different classes in a week. You might see 15 classes from 3 different schools. And each classroom teacher will have their own expectations. So it's up to you to teach your expectations so that you can deliver your music successfully. So there was a quiet zone in one of my schools, and it was always me who was getting told off about it, I have to say. And if someone from that school is watching, then they'll know it was me. But the best thing we ever did was use our song, get it going in the classroom, keep the beat in your feet, keep singing the song, and then when you stop, when you got to the end of the song, stop, 4 beats with your feet, I'd sing and off we go again. And it worked a treat, and it really does help because children, they do talk when they're moving, but if they're using their thinking voice and singing, it's a win-win.
Put your finger on your lip, on your lip. Put your hand on your hip, on your hip. Put your finger on your lip and your hand on your hip. Put your finger on your lip, on your lip. Zip, zip. Put your finger on your lip, on your lip. Put
to learn, very repetitive, great to use. So let's assume you've set up your music classroom, your behaviour expectations are all in place. It's worth spending that first week doing musical things on behaviour expectations, and the rest of the term, hopefully, will follow. So how do you approach this amazing song-based curriculum? Step one, know your way around the website. There are so many superb videos to help you navigate the website. And I've added links on your PDF you get afterwards to help you get started, because I found them really helpful. There's also one to take you to the Wednesday webinars, which is full of recommendations, teachers' experience, and ideas to help you in your role. If you go to the Wednesday webinars one, as I mentioned before, there is another webinar on you're the music coordinator. What do I do? And it's about taking you all the way through Musicplay Online. Mine is not so much, but the other one, certainly by the description, is. So I absolutely recommend that you use that one. So let's start by teaching a few songs. Short songs with a limited pitch range are easier for you and the children to learn. From repetition of the Musicplay Online tracks or more complex songs, you might need to teach them. So let's look at a few ways to teach a song. Always know your song well, even if it's a really, really simple one, and sing it through first. I always still, even though I know my song, I've still got my piece of paper here, because if the Wi-Fi goes down, I still have a lesson. So I still have, and I'm quite open to the children about it, and I say, look, I will forget it. So I know I'm going to forget it. I know it, but I'm going to forget it. So I'm doing this. It's a bit more inclusive that way, and that way, if they forget it, it's not terrible. Sing it again. See, we've sung our whole song. We sing it again, modelling the phrases with large gesture. Large gesture as in my turn, your turn. It also shows where the children are going to breathe collectively. My turn. You need to practice this, otherwise you go and you bring in an aeroplane. So my turn, your turn. Now, if it's my turn, your turn, then that's scary. So I would always say, put your voice on my hand. And if you've only used one hand, you can always, can I hear a bit more? Rather than go, I need it louder or anything like that. So my turn, your turn. And they know what to do. So you don't then have to have the whole conversation because Jimmy over there is having a chat. So you just, thanks, Jimmy. I'm carrying on, my turn, your turn. Actually, and you over there can stop doing that. My turn, your turn. So you don't need to use as many words. Teach it in chunks. Sing it for the children to copy each phrase. We're going to have a go at doing this anyway, even though I'll be singing to myself. I sing one, children copy. I sing phrases 1 and 2. I stop them joining in after the first one, and then they can join in. Add a phrase each time. Don't go on until they get it right, in my opinion. So use a gesture. Use your gesture. My turn, your turn. Reinforce, 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 so every phrase is correct before you move on. So we're going to learn, take my little car for a ride. I could do it where you don't look at it, but I'll give you that anyway. So oh no, the Wi-Fi in the classroom's gone off and somebody did something with the ceiling, so the screen's gone off. So make sure you've got your music. So I'm gonna take my little car for a ride. I'm gonna take my little car for a ride. Gonna take it for a ride. Won't you step inside? Gonna take my little car for a ride. Oh, who worked out what it's about? It's about a car. Great. How many times did I say I was going to take my car for a ride? I'm going to sing it again. But each time I sing it, I'm going to change the pitch. So that accesses more parts and more active parts of the brain. That was where I was, so I'm going here. So I've gone a bit higher. So you're counting how many times. I'm going to take my little car for a ride. I'm going to take my little car for a ride. Gonna take it for a ride. Won't you step inside? Gonna take my little car for a ride. Who can? And so on. I mean, you're all experts at teaching music. So it's how many different ways can you get the children to listen, and how many times can you sing it through so that they've heard it enough to learn it without you having to teach it my go yoga, my go yoga. So let's learn it in phrases. I'm gonna take my little car for a ride. You'll go. I'm gonna take my little car for a ride. I'm gonna take my little car for a ride. I'm gonna take it for a ride. Let me stop there. Let's do those first two together. And so on. Go back into. And then can we add some actions? So could you tell me and show me you're going to take the car for a ride? We're going to go that, turn, turn, turn. We're going tap, 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 tap. But this will be your feet when we go for a walk with the car. I'm going to take my little car for a ride. I'm going to take, and so on. And so you're moving, you're reinforcing the beat without telling them about it. Add some actions. Going to turn the wipers on. I'm going to honk the little horn and then join in with the song. And there are 7 verses, including the officer going, right, slow down. So it has a nice moral part to it too. Skinamarink is everybody's favourite. Don't know anybody who doesn't love this song. Skinnamarink-a-dinky-dink, skinnamarink-a-doo, I love you. Skinnamarink-a-dinky-dink, skinnamarink-a-doo, I love you. I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. I love you in the evening underneath the moon. Skinnamarink-a-dinky-dink, skinnamarink-a-doo, I love you. So I teach just the I love yous first. Can we go? I love you, you'll go. I love you. Then I'm going to change the tune. I love you, your turn. I love you. What was different each time? I love you, I love you. And someone will say the words. We'll think, oh, is it the words? And then we'll talk about what the melody is and the tune. We might get the pitch, word pitch, we might not. And then, I love you. What happens there? Sing the song again. Only join in with I love you. Put in the actions for I love you. And echo with lots and lots and lots of short phrases. And repeat with the recording. These are Denise's actions. We changed them slightly because I love you in the morning and in the afternoon. Lovely in the evening, underneath the moon, just to do a bit more word painting. But do whatever works for you.
Skinnamarink-a-dinky-dink, skinnamarink-a-doo.
sure that we knew the song first before I let them to it with all the actions. Because as soon as the younger the child, the more there are. I'll try that again. The more actions there are, the less they're going to sing for you, which is where that my turn, your turn comes in as a very useful tool. So teaching a longer, more complex song, I found one that I didn't know. Oh, so. Come all, and I could show you it and I could show the children it, but what I want them to do is listen. So I might ask, after I've sung the whole song twice, ask questions about the text, and then I might ask how many phrases there are, but I will always draw it the phrases while I'm doing it so that those people who are not sure can actually work it out as well. So they might be my questions. Are there any sections or phrases repeated? Which ones? In which case, by this stage in the school year, they should know where the phrases are and how to count the phrases. Come all ye jolly shanty boys, come listen to my song. It's all about the shanties and how they get along. They are a jolly crew of boys, so right words, so merry and so fine, who while away the winters are cutting down the pine. Let's sing it again and actually work out what the meter is. What is the beat? What are we counting in the meter? Come all you jolly shanty boys, come listen to my song. So we decided what the beat is. Bring in a little more off training. Walk the beat. Clap on the main beat. Come all ye jolly shanty boys, come listen to my song. It's all about the shanties and how they get along. Do it as an echo pattern. My go, your go. And obviously, as soon as the Wi-Fi is back on again.
Come all ye jolly shanty boys, come listen to my song. It's all about the shanties and how they get along. They are a jolly crew of boys, so merry and so fine, who while away the winters are cutting down the pine. The choppers and the sawyers, they lay the timber low. The skidders and the swampers, they holler to and fro. And then there came the loaders before the break of day. Come load up the teams, boys, and to the woods away. The broken ice is floating and sunny is the sky. 300 big and strong men are wanted on the dry. With cant hooks and with pike poles these noblemen do go, and risk their lives each springtime on some big stream you know.
And these days, everybody loves shanties. So even with the youngest children, I always use the correct vocabulary. And to help reinforce it, with younger children, I put music elements. They would be on the wall anyway, but I'll put them under their chairs. So if I say, what's pitch? Because I do say that. In fact, I said it to an adult piano teacher, an old adult piano student yesterday. So what's the difference between pitch and rhythm? Well, try again. I'm going to start that again. Blah, blah, blah. What's the difference between a rhythm and pulse? And she went, because I'd been to a talk and someone used the word rhythm and something else, another couple of other musical words incorrectly, according to music. But it was almost as if they'd made up their own plan with it. So what is pitch? Now, basically, it's high and low. What's timbre? So I wouldn't put the word timbre out if I'm not having anything to do with timbre with those children. I might use the word pulse. And whenever you hear that your word, and you know that your word is pulse, the child holds it up and goes, I've got the word pulse. What is it? Tell me what the word pulse is. And if you can't remember, ask a friend. They're never going to ask somebody shy and retiring. They're always going to ask somebody who was more likely to help them out. So what's the pulse? It's a steady beat, like the ticking of a clock. Can you now put it under somebody else's chair so that the next time I say that word, they pick it up and they explain to the class what pulse is? It's a great way of reinforcing musical elements, meanings. Don't do it for the whole lesson, otherwise you get nothing done. Because if you use the musical vocabulary, you're stuck then, because every time you say pulse, so use it when necessary. Now the photos on here are music element cards from a company called Twinkle in the UK, which I acquired them when it was giving away free resource every week. So if with an older child I did need the word timbre, I would send them to the wall and say, well, find the word timbre. Looks like timbre, but pronounced timbre. Can you find it? What does it mean? Can you read it out? And they'd read it out. And if they understood it, great. Could they explain it? Maybe, maybe not. So then we'd do something that helped to explain it. But having some words on the wall, it makes a great music display because it's on your wall, it's there. And if you're starting and you've forgotten what the word means, you can look over and you can check for yourself as well. So let's just demystify some of this vocabulary. That first exercise we looked at, be respectful. Ta, 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 ta. Can we do it 4 times? Ta, ta. Put the words in your thinking voice. Be. It's going to give you a steady beat of the pulse. And the pulse of the beat is that steady like the ticking of a clock. So let's put the words into the thinking voice and keep that on something that sounds a bit like a drum. I have a desk here, that will do. Now we're going to add a rhythm. A rhythm is the pattern of long and short sounds. So I'm going to tap a rhythm. Which one am I tapping? Ready, and off I go. What did I tap? Now who can tap it? Do you want to hear it again? So we've got our beat going and we have how many rhythms? 2. Well done. It might be that you put 4 together. In your groups with older children, can they put 5 together? Can they have one as an ostinato? That the more you give them in terms of scope to do something a bit more exciting, the better they'll get at it. So tapping 2 together, we have 2 patterns at the same time. If we tap 1, it's a thin texture. If we have 2 patterns, it becomes a thicker texture. And texture is the layers of sound. So we can change the tempo, which is the speed of the pulse. You can't change the pulse, because pulse just means steady beat. So pulse is always steady beat, but you can change the speed of it. Tempo is speed. So let's just do that. Can we now find the rhythms again? What was the structure there? Was there a pattern? Who guessed it of my 10 to 11-year-olds? Let's do it a few more times. Can you work out, can you label each rhythm? Was it A, B, A, C? Or was it A, B, C, B? Give them a challenge. So we can do that. So let me just show you what happened. Pulses are steady beat. The rhythm is the pattern of sounds of different lengths or notes of different lengths. Texture is the layer of the sound, like a musical lasagna. Pulse at the bottom, and then add something else, something else. Our pulse was be respectful. And that rhythm pattern I just did then at a faster tempo was follow directions, be polite, and be a good listener, be polite. So we heard a change in timbre with each part of the pulse and the rhythm, which was my tuning fork tapping the rhythm. And the singing voice is a great way to sort out the timbre as well, and to explain it. Have you brought your talking voice? Yes, I've brought my talking voice. Have you brought a high voice? Yes. And so you're changing timbre each time. So, Mountaintop Monster, great rhyme. I'm going to call it a rhyme rather than a song, a rhyme to explore pitch of the spoken voice. If you haven't discovered it, it comes with colouring sheets as well. It's so cool. But it does explore different timbres.
On a mountain top high above the sea sat a great big monster in a great big tree. It had great big ankles and great big knees and great big elbows and a great big sneeze. It was how big? Great big. It was how big? Great big. It had a great big nose and a great big chin and great big teeth and a great big grin. It was how big? Great big. It was how big? Great big. It had great big eyes and great big feet and a great big belly, and it only liked to eat jelly this, jelly that all day. I love jelly, you could hear it say. I put jelly on my lettuce, jelly on my beans, jelly on my hair, and jelly on my jeans. On a mountain top high above the sea sat a teeny tiny monster in a teeny tiny tree. It had teeny tiny ankles and teeny tiny knees and teeny tiny elbows and a teeny tiny sneeze. It was how tiny? Teeny tiny. It was how tiny? Teeny tiny. It had a teeny tiny nose and teeny tiny chin and teeny tiny teeth and a teeny tiny grin. It was how tiny? Teeny tiny. It was how tiny? Teeny tiny. It had.
I love this, but I am going to stop it. Sorry. Sadly. So that's exploring the voice, exploring the spoken voice. Great big. And so on. And the more experience children have with changing the timbre of their voice, and that was the pitch that we were changing, the better their singing is going to be. Shanty boys, let's just now think about pitch of a melody. A melody is a tune. So listen to it again. We're going to use phrase 2. How does it end? Does the pitch of the melody go up or down? So I'd sing the whole song and draw the phrases. I'm determined to be in time this week rather than gabble towards the end. So I'm moving. So, come all you jolly shanty boys and listen to my song. Now, I've already asked about what happens at the end of phrase 2. So those children who are really on it have thought, right, so that's phrase 1, don't need to listen to that. I'm listening to this one. It's all about the shanties and how they get along. Which point they put their hands up, but sing to the end of the song. Give them the complete song. There are a jolly crew of boys so merry and so fine. Did the pitch of the melody go up or down? If they're not sure, hum the phrase, because it's often easier to identify changes in pitch. That's the height of the note from humming. So let's show it again. And can the children close their eyes and hum? And you can then tell if they've understood where it's high or low. So we're just going to do the second phrase. And hum it, show with your finger. You might find that they just go like that. Is that the melody? Be picky, ask more. So what about dynamics? Dynamics are how loud and quiet a piece of music is, or a sound is. So consider when you're singing quietly, we might do that with Skinnamarink. I would like you to sing your phrase the opposite of mine. I'm going to sing a louder phrase. I'd like you to sing quietly. Skinnamarink-y dinky dink, skinnamarink-y doo. I love you. You'll go. Skinnamarink-y dinky dink, skinnamarink-y doo. Watch that they don't go because it's quiet, because that's going to wreck the thing. Skinnamarink-y dinky dink, still put the sound on my hand. I love you. Be careful when you sing quietly and you want a louder sound. Ask them to sing more clearly and project the sound to a different part of the room. I hesitate ever to say loudly because that shout often turns into shouty singing, and nobody wants that, let's be honest. So it's not going to happen. Let's go back to the Shanty boys. Once the children know the song well, obviously Key Stage 2 song or years 3, 4, 5, 6, sing and identify how many phrases there are. Bring in Italian terms. Divide into 4 groups. So each group sings a phrase. Try a loud phrase, a quiet phrase. A moderately quiet phrase, moderately loud phrase. Put them into groups. Can they sing the whole song with 4 different dynamic settings for each phrase? And yes, they can. They really can. But challenge them. And sometimes the simpler the song is, the more they can do with it. But as I say, there is an amazing webinar coming along with which is going to really delve into your, and I think it's in September, about the role of the new coordinator, so that that coordinator can then explore Musicplay Online. But from my point of view, spend the whole of your summer holidays going through the videos, checking out everything. You might like some songs, you might not like. I use a lot of my material with a group of adults now, in a group called Can't Sing, Won't Sing, because they're all terrified because somebody didn't teach the music when they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or somebody said, oh, won't be a shepherd. You can't be, no, angels are singing. And the damage it's done means that they need to follow this approach, the approach that is on Musicplay Online. Danae, I'm going to pour a champagne for myself. I've finished at the sort of time I'm supposed to. Right. Thank you for attending and watching. In summary, know your material in case the Wi-Fi goes off. Print it out. Practice teaching a song using my turn, your turn, large gesture before you try it with your class. Establish your behaviour expectations and stick to them. It'll make your teaching so much easier. Put the music vocabulary on the wall so that when you forget it, or you remind everyone of the music elements and their meaning, they're there. And you can use it as a learning experience for everything you do.
All right, brilliant.
Danae.
Thank you so much, Ruth. I have one
I'm
question.
going to go to stop share. Oh,
all right, perfect.
What happened there? Right.
All right, so I do have one question for you. It's actually 3 questions in one. But for the activities that you were showing with the 3 songs you included, how many classes would you spend on the activities, like with those songs? Would it be 1 class, 2, more? And does it depend on the length of the song?
Well, being a slightly bolshy music teacher, I always used to have a 3/4 of an hour or an hour lesson. So I had time to play, really. Initially, it takes 15, 20 minutes to start it going. But by the time children are aware of what's going on, they've got it in a few minutes, you know, and they can. So in terms of how long would I spend on, have you brought your listening ears, your looking eyes and all the rest? 2 or 3 minutes, because the younger children, they need to move, because quite often they've come to me because they've been sitting down somewhere else for quite a long time. I'm just going to get rid of this blurry bit because I keep sort of moving and disappearing somewhere. And so they need to move straight away quite often with the younger children. With the older ones, they come in, and if I've walked with them, then they need an activity. So they have an instruction of how many different patterns they need to use in their pattern. They need to make a pattern and be able to model it by using 3 different sorts of body percussion in pairs or in 4s or 5s. So they'll already be on track with it a little bit, because if you're walking with a class of 30, you have to be at the one who's at the back. Does that sort of answer the question?
Yes, exactly. I
depends.
think that's, yeah, I
But
think.
once they get it, yeah.
All right, perfect. That was actually the only question that I have for this session. I don't see anything in the chat either since then. So in that case, thank you so much, Ruth. It was a fantastic webinar for me to start the day, for y'all to end the day, depending on where you are in the world. But thanks again so much, and we'll see you all later for future Wednesday webinars. If you are interested and are in, well, honestly, anywhere in the world, we are having a conference this summer in July. You are able to join from anywhere via live stream. Go to workshops.musicplay.ca. I'll toss that in the chat if you are interested. It is 18 hours of professional development, including certificates, with some really great presenters. So if you're interested in that, please check it out. And if you are, we'll see you there. Have a fantastic day, everyone.
And I just mentioned that if you can't get there, like us over here over the water, the pond, it's online. And during
exactly.
COVID, it was online. And it was so helpful. And all the online sessions were brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Sorry.
Appreciate that. All right. Oh, and I see one question of where to access this recording. You can also find this recording on workshops.musicplay.ca, the same place where you would have registered to attend. In the next couple of days, the video recording will be posted there for you to watch whenever you'd like. All right. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your days, whether they're starting